These are shark-infested waters. Danger lurks all around. There are sharks circling you right now. Is this the Pacific? The South China Sea? No. This is the business insurance industry. Don't take chances with your business insurance. Call High House Insurance, your local business insurance experts. We don't pay to be on comparison websites, so your premiums are better value. For a free no-obligation quote, call Celsey 606 552. High House, local, reliable insurance. High Street, Celsey.
Yes, as always, the station that cares, Manhood Internet Radio. Right, without further ado, we'll get on with the programme for this week, and our first item, of course, is What's On? And we start with Selsey this week, and on the Tuesday the 5th of April, there's Wild Families Springtime Art and Crafts at Pagham Harbour Visitor Centre. That's from 10:30am until 12:30pm. And starting with a walk, taking in the sights, sounds, smells and feels of spring, so you'll all be inspired. And then when you go back, you can create some works of art using things that you collected along the way. Now, price for that is £3 per child or £1.50 for RSPB members. On Wednesday the 6th, there's a quiz night at the Seal. And if you want any more information on that, you can look on their website or on their Facebook page, or you can phone them on 602 461, and that's Quizmaster Malcolm's speciality, and that starts at 8:45. And if you wanted to, you could always book a table and have dinner and then take part in the quiz, which would be a full night out and rather enjoyable. Now on Thursday the 7th of April, well, it's Wild Families again and a pond dipping at Pagham Harbour Visitor Centre. And this is a drop-in activity, and it runs from 10am until 1pm, and price is £4 per child and £2 for RSPB members, and all equipment is provided for that. Also on Thursday the 7th, we've got the Carers Coffee Morning, and that's at 10:30am at 109 the High Street, Selsey, and everybody's welcome to go there. And Selsey Cinema Club are showing two films on Thursday the 7th. The first one is The Good Dinosaur, and that's from 2:30pm at the Town Hall, and the tickets for that are £2. And then in the evening, once again, the Cinema Club is showing The Dressmaker, and that's from 7:30pm, and tickets for that are £5. Now on Saturday the 9th of April, there's a jumble sale in aid of Selsey Cancer Relief Fund, and that's at 10am at the Methodist Church Hall. And there's a wildlife artist workshop at Pagham Harbour Visitor Centre, and that's from 10:30am until 4:30pm. An all-day wildlife painting workshop for beginners and improvers, combining theory, techniques with practical tuition and culminating your own artwork to take home. It's led by a local artist, focusing on watercolours, using quality materials which will be provided, so you don't have to worry about taking your own paintbrushes and stuff. Booking is essential for that, and you need to contact the visitor centre, and the price for that is £18 per person or £12 if you're an RSPB member. And also on Saturday is a Victorian themed concert in St Peter's Church at 7pm in celebration of the 150th anniversary of the dedication of the church. Now refreshments are available, tickets are £10, under 16s are £5, and they're available from Sally, and you can get her on 01243 604 104. Now on Sunday the 10th of April, there's a Carers car boot sale at the Academy, and that's from 7:30am until 1pm. Cars are £7, cars and trailers are £10, and vans are £12. And there's also a celebration Victorian lunch and quiz in St Peter's Church Hall, and that's at 12 noon, and tickets for that are £8, and under 16s are £4, and they're available from Sally once again, and you can get her on 604 104. Now there's also on Sunday the 10th an indoor craft market at the Selsey Centre, and as well as browsing and purchasing products, you'll have the opportunity to watch how an item's lovingly created and talk to the crafters and even have a go at some of the crafts. That's free admission and free parking, and refreshments are available. Also on the Sunday at the Seal, you've got Andy Winfield and Steve Simpson live at the Seal. That starts at 3 p.m. and they'll entertain with some blues, some bluegrass and some classic rock. So well worth a visit for that. Now, just while we're talking of things musical, Cloud9 are holding auditions for Fame, the musical. Now, the auditions are being held on Friday the 22nd of April at the Town Hall. And for full details, please contact Becky Townsend on 01243 601 470, or you can email Becky at becky.townsend@googlemail.com. That's all lowercase. Or you can contact Sue Graves on 01243 602260, or email Sue at suegraves@demon.co.uk. Now, the show actually won't be taking place until the 15th or 16th of August, but obviously you need to get your name down early or go along for the auditions. We've got some lovely young talent in Selsey. Get yourself along there, gang. Audition, put on a fabulous show. And that's it for this week from Selsey. We move across now to Bracklesham and the Witterings. Over at Bracklesham Barn on Monday the 4th of April, they've got a special event which runs in the afternoon, and that's Family and Kids Yoga with Lou, and that's Louise Etches. This starts at 3 to 3:45 for Kids Yoga and 4 to 4:45 for Family Yoga. It's jam-packed and includes yoga poses mixed in with games and meditation, breathing exercises, relaxation, positive thinking, acro yoga, and whatever feels right on the day. And you'll learn techniques to use over and over again. Now, the cost for that is £10 for one adult and one child, and £4 for a second child. And for the kids yoga, it's just £6 per child. And the yoga for the kids is suitable for children aged 4 to 10 years. So if you want to know any more about that, you can email louise_etches@hotmail.com, and you can find out more information about that. And that's in the main hall. Now, also in the main hall, but earlier in the day, from 10 a.m. to 12:30, there's short mat bowls. And from 9:30 until 11:30 in the community room, there's a Duckland parent and toddler group. And in the evening, from 7 until 8:30, you've got yoga with Elaine. On Tuesdays, there's the table tennis club. That's drop in and play. That's only £2 for adults only. That's only £2 to play that. And that's from 9:15 until 12:15. And in the community room, you've got yoga with Elaine from 10 till 11. And in the evenings, in the main hall, you've got the badminton club at 7:30 until 9:30. And you've got 7:30 till 8:30 Pilates with FitJoy. On Wednesdays in the main hall, well, 1 to 2 p.m, my old favourite, belly dancing with Step Inside Limited. And then in the evening you have Zumba with Louise from 6:30 until 7:30. And then 8 to 9 p.m, there's a Sweat Zone exercise class. Now, in the community room at 9 a.m. till 11 a.m, there's motorcycle training, so you need to pre-book for that, and it's pre-book only, so you won't get on it if you haven't pre-booked it. And from 11 till 12 p.m, gyrokinesis with Jen, and that's every second week. On Thursdays, there's the Busy Bugs Toddler Gym, and that's 9:15 a.m. until 12:15 in the main hall. And in the community room from 2 till 4, the Thursday group, and that's the first Thursday of the month. And from 4:30 until 5:30, the Kids Art Group with Anita. Now, the first Thursday of the month, Seen It, and that's a community cinema night, and the doors open for that for 7 o'clock. So you keep in touch, have a look at the Facebook page or the website for Bracklesham Barn, and you can find out what film's showing there. And on Fridays, you've got Vinyasa Flow Yoga with Lou, and that starts 9:15 until 10:15 a.m. And then from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m, there's short mat bowls. And then, of course, on Sundays, from 10:15 a.m. until 12:15 p.m, the Windrush Church meeting. And that's about it for Bracklesham and the Witterings. If you know of anything that's going on and you'd like a shout out, please contact us and we'll put it up for you. It's time now to hear from our stargazing sound editor, Mr. John Mallett. John.
Hello. The nights are getting lighter now that the clocks have gone forward 1 hour. But on the 16th of April, there's an asteroid, 2008 HU4. It's going to pass within 5 moon diameters of the Earth. It won't be visible as it's only about 10 metres across, but an interesting event. On the 17th at about 10 p.m. you'll be able to see Jupiter within 2 degrees of the Moon. The Moon will be at 84% illumination, so looking for the moons of Jupiter could be quite difficult. This month's constellation is Gemini, the twins. Last month's constellation, Orion, is now sinking down in the west, but Gemini is directly above Orion. The 2 bright stars for the heads of the twins you can see quite easily. Then a line of 4 dimmer stars below that for their outstretched arms, and below that a line of 4 stars for their feet. The Milky Way, our galaxy, stretches out below Gemini, with the centre of the galaxy off to the right. April the 22nd there'll be a meteor shower called the Lyrids. It actually lasts from the 16th of April to the 25th of April, but the peak will be midnight on the 22nd of April. The rate of meteors is about 100 per hour, but many will be too dim to see because there's a full moon. The place to look is low in the northeast at about 10 p.m. near the very bright star Vega. That's where the constellation of Lyra is located. That is the night sky for April, so clear skies.
Well, clear skies indeed, John, and thank you very much for that, and hopefully we'll get some clear skies during the day as well. Now, unfortunately, Kevin, our quizmaster, has not been very well this week, and so we don't have a quiz for you. So all I can do is to reiterate the questions from a couple of weeks ago. Seeing as it has been 2 weeks, I'll run through the questions again, and I'll give you the answers. And the questions are: which author's fictional works have been turned into commercially successful films, including The Hunt for Red October and Patriot Games? Number 2, what are Watling Street, Ermine Street and the Fosse Way? Number 3, which intercity coach service with its red, white and blue theme is one of the UK's biggest transport providers? What palace is the meeting place of the House of Commons and the House of Lords? And number 5, which decisive major German offensive was launched through densely forested Ardennes mountain region at the end of World War II? And the answer, and the last question of course, is what's the connection? Well, the answers are Tom Clancy, Roman roads, National Express, the Palace of Westminster and the Battle of the Bulge. And the connection is abbeys. You can add Abbey to all the answers, and so you come up with Abbey Clancy, Abbey Road, Abbey National, Westminster Abbey and Battle Abbey. And I think, Kevin, some of those are a little bit tenuous, but however, those are the answers, and we look forward to Kevin coming back to us very soon. Right, now if you remember a couple of weeks ago I had in the studio with me Theresa White, and Theresa runs a dog sitting and dog training business. Well, after we recorded the programme for that week, we had a bit of a chat, and certain things came up that I had no idea went on. And so I thought, well, I cannot let this go unnoticed. And so I asked Theresa if she'd come back this week and explain 1 or 2 things. Now, the first thing was, it's quite a serious issue, of course, and that's different breeds. Well, we all know that different breeds get different names, and over the past number of years, it's been breeds like the Staffies and Pit Bulls, etc., that have really been going through the mill, and dogs' homes are full of them because people can't. They get them. They've got this macho thing about having a Staffy or a Pit Bull, and then they decide that they don't want them after all, and they get rid of them. And I think I'm right in saying, Theresa, that there are an awful lot that have been abandoned.
Yes, there are.
And sometimes not in pleasant circumstances.
No, not at all. Unfortunately, of course, the ones that have been trained to fight cannot be rehomed. Most of them cannot be retrained. You can't trust them. You could never put them into a home with ordinary people because they wouldn't know how to handle a dog that went for them under different, circumstances that they don't know why they're doing it. So it's just sort of been a learnt behaviour with the dog and cannot be unlearned. So at present in this country, we're putting 300 dogs a month to sleep, and I would say half of those are staffies.
Really?
The homes are full of them. And people think that, I'm very anti dogs being bred by ordinary people. I think there should be a breeding program, like if you're going to crafts and you've got all your high profile dogs, they should be bred, that's fine. But these people that say to me, oh, but I wanted to have a litter of puppies. Well, that's for you, to satisfy you, not the dog. The dog does not want to have a litter of puppies. Although it's in their DNA to breed when they come into season, as the responsible adult, it's up to us for that not to happen. So therefore, given the number of dogs that are being put down in this country every month, I get very cross when people won't be responsible, and I know we've gone off the subject a bit, but they won't have their dogs castrated, they won't have their dogs spayed. Castration is not very expensive, and if you haven't got a lot of money, there's no excuse, you can have it done at the PDSA. And it stops this massive amount of dogs that are going into the homes. People are, the homes, they're wonderful, some of the homes, but they're having to build extra, so they're having to find the funds to build extra buildings to take up the number of dogs that are being thrown out because people can't look after them. Well, that's ridiculous. There shouldn't be that many dogs around that are spare that nobody wants.
No, that's right. But surely these breeds, I know they're muscular dogs, and the pit bulls and the staffies, they're very muscular dogs, but they, as a breed, they're not. They weren't bred as fighting dogs initially, were they? They're not a fighting dog specifically.
No.
Were they bred for a different purpose, I believe?
Yes.
When they were.
Yeah, staffies were bred years ago, Victorian times and all that. They were bred as nanny dogs, and it's well documented. You can look it up on the internet. They were actually bred to look after the babies and the children because they were so protective, but at the same time so docile and gentle with the children. So there is no need for this vilification of them. I've known some lovely staffies come through my hands. I've known a few that you have to watch. A lot of that would be training or boredom. A lot of dogs bite through fear, mainly, through boredom, nervousness, not because they're aggressive. So therefore, I would say I've handled more lovely staffs than I have nasty ones.
Biggest problem with them, of course, is they're so strong.
Yes.
They are so strong,
yes.
and they won't let go.
No.
If they get hold of you and they decide they're not going to let go, there's very little you can do to make them let go. So, I can understand that.
But I've had other breeds that do that as well. We were talking about earlier, I had a Labrador that is, Labradors, lovely dogs, family dogs, and he came to me for an assessment, which I do with all dogs, just to see if they're going to cope with their owner leaving and if they're going to be all right with my dogs and all the rest of it. And he saw my rabbit, who was in a very well constructed cage, and he lunged at the cage, put his head through the wire door in order to grab my rabbit, which he did with the wire wrapped around his teeth. And it's only because my rabbit was so fat that he couldn't get him out of the cage, and I had to pull. The owner just stood there because I think she was in shock, and I pulled the dog back and I held his nose so that the animal couldn't breathe, and when he took a gasp, of course I could pull him off. She said he'd never done it before, and then she asked me would she get fined if he had killed a rabbit, a wild rabbit, out like on the beach, like we get them at the witterings and all the rest of it. and in the fields. And I realised the dog had been allowed to kill the rabbits, and so he knew what he was doing. He knew, he sized up the rabbit. But the fact that he put his head through a wire cage, you don't get many dogs that will do that.
No, indeed not.
So it's not the breed. It could have been a Jack Russell. Jack Russells. One of my Jack Russells that I've got was rescued because he'd killed 3 chickens in his mum's, in his previous owner's garden where they were jumping about. You've got to take into consideration if the breed has got a prey drive, which is when they go after something. So, like greyhound. I've known greyhounds that will live with chihuahuas and cats quite happily, even when they've been racing greyhounds. And I've known a greyhound that hasn't been a racing greyhound, but I wouldn't let anywhere near my cats because I know they'd kill them. So it's not the breed, it's the way, it's the character of the animal, which people don't take ever into consideration. That every animal's got a different character, and it's what's going on in that dog's life. If it's a bitch, is it in season? Is it having a phantom pregnancy? In which case it won't be in a very good mood. It'll be protecting imaginary puppies. Is it a male dog that's still got his testicles and hasn't been castrated? Is he protecting? Is he nervous? Have you pinned him in a corner? Are you staring at him? There are many, many reasons why a dog will go for you, but it doesn't make them aggressive.
I mean, the thing that springs to mind is that awful incident a couple of weeks ago with the sheep up in Chichester. I mean, 130... 116 sheep. It's incredible.
That's awful.
And you would almost think that would take not one dog, but several dogs to do that, to instill that much fear into the sheep. But I suppose it's this sort of mass hysteria, where the sheep all headed for the gate for safety,
and not one of the sheep were mauled.
Exactly that. Exactly.
So unfortunately, in a way, it would have been better if one of them had been mauled, because there would have been blood on the dog, and the owner could have told when it went home.
But it doesn't do anything to get dogs a good name.
No.
Now, we touched on castration, not something I talk about comfortably, I've got to say. But in a little chat that we had after the show a couple of weeks ago, you did tell me something that made me roar with laughter, and that is that there are prosthetic testicles available for dogs that have been castrated. Now, surely that must be for the benefit of the owner, not for the benefit of the dog.
Yeah, definitely. I have a lot of trouble, mainly with the men, towards castrating their dogs. They don't see the need for it, even if their dog is humping everything in sight and peeing up things that it shouldn't be peeing up, and being perhaps more raucous than it should be. I do say to people, you imagine if you think about sex all the time but could never ever do anything about it. Well, that's what the dog's going through. When they go out for a walk, they can smell all the bitches, some in season, even not in season. And that takes over their life. And so it has very little time to be obedient, to have its training, to be a good pet dog, which is what you want. You do not want a breeding machine. You don't want a humping machine. You want a dog that will be a pet for your home. So why do you need to keep its testicles? They sell prosthetic testicles that, if you are so inclined that you don't want anybody to think that your blessed little dog...
so difficult to believe. Why would you? Surely the dog doesn't say, look, I've still got mine.
No.
I mean, it's...
they sell them...
It's got to be purely for the benefit of the owner.
Yeah.
I haven't had my dog done, look.
Yeah.
I mean, there are certain breeds, of course, where it's obvious, where it is obvious if a dog's
like
been
a
done.
bulldog or whatever,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to buy prosthetic testicles for that dog, it's got to be for your own benefit, for the benefit of the owner, not for the benefit of the dog. The dog doesn't go around and say, look, I've still got mine.
No. I say to the men, we are not castrating you. We are castrating the dog.
Maybe that's the wrong way round.
Yes, having met some of the owners, yes, I would agree with you. But they sell them from Chihuahua size right up to Great Dane. So they sell different sizes.
That's just leads to even funnier connotations because, well, I've got a Chihuahua, but he's going to get some Great Dane ones. I mean, I have to say,
that would be good,
I find that hilarious.
Well, they even sell also on eBay. They sell humping dolls that you can buy for your dog, so that it has a little companion it can hump quite happily. But what people don't understand
I must have led a very sheltered life, I think.
Even dry humping, which is what that's called, will lead to cancer in the dog if you don't stop it. You know, people just don't understand.
So I've just got this picture in my mind now of the dog with his little foot pump blowing up his his blow up doll with I'm in the mood for love. I mean, it's till
he bites it and it falls out. Goes out the window.
I could go on about laughing about this for a long time, Theresa, but I think we better call it a day at that. Thanks for coming back in and explaining some of this to us.
Yeah, okay. Well, any questions anybody's got, if they want to phone me and just say that they want to put a question on the air, I can bring it with me next time and we can discuss whatever.
That's a fantastic idea. Yeah. So, and they could also phone us. And I'll certainly line the questions up for you because I know at least I'm going to get a straight answer with whichever way it goes. Well, thanks once again, Theresa.
Thank you.
See you soon. Bye now. And that's it. Just time now for a look at the weather before we go. Monday's going to be possibly a bit wet because there's a 50% chance of some rain and the wind's at 16 miles an hour. Top temperature of 13 degrees. Tuesday's going to be dry. Just a slight chance of a shower there, and the temperature up to 16 degrees, so getting quite warm there. But Wednesday, unfortunately, back down to a bit of wet weather, 50% chance of rain, 13 degrees top temperature, winds picking up a bit to 21 miles an hour. Thursday, a 40% chance of rain on Thursday, temperature of 13 degrees, winds dropping back a bit to 16 mile an hour. Friday's much the same. It's a 40% chance of rain, temperature of 13 degrees, and the wind's dropping back off just a little bit down to 13 miles an hour. And Saturday is a 50% chance of rain, and the temperature drops to 12 degrees, and the wind picks up slightly to 15 miles an hour. So it looks like we could have a little drop of rain during the week, but it doesn't look like it's going to be torrential. And that's about it for the coming week up to Saturday. And that just leaves me to say thank you to our guest, Theresa White, to our stargazing sound editor, John Mallett, to the producer, John Fletcher, and from me, Keith Barnes. Have a wonderful week and see you next time.